You can be armoured from head to toe in Kenshi with masterwork heavy armour, but you'll be made a joke of if you don't have a good weapon. The first weapon you'll likely acquire is a katana, as they are one of the most popular melee weapons in the world, being used mainly by Asian samurai. But which katana suits you best? Let's find out. First of all, the aptly named katana is by far the most popular weapon amongst swordsmen in Kenshi. They can be found mainly in weapon shops and ancient armories, as near to no enemies carry them surprisingly. The Me Too version, which is the highest grade weapon variant, is carried by Emperor Tengu, the leader of the United Cities Coalition, which makes acquiring this weapon a dangerous task. Like all katanas, they relied on skilled users who specialised in katana experience and dexterity to deal damage fast and efficiently, meaning they're not the best for new users. The advantages of a katana is a 20% bleed damage modifier, a +4 attack bonus, and a 10% damage bonus to humans, which makes them good human hunting weapons. The downside though is armoured enemies, with a 30% debuff to armour penetration, -40% damage to robots, and a -4 defence stat, which makes it a tough fight against armoured enemies like samurai or robots. The katana though is still a solid all-around weapon. The wakizashi is the katana's younger brother, being a small version of the blade, mainly used as a backup weapon. The real-life wakizashi, that's a funny word to say, was used also as a backup weapon, alternatively also used for close quarter combat when katanas could be used as a disadvantage fighting in cramped spaces and such. The dark use of this weapon though was for heading defeated enemies or committing seppuku, or suicide by disembowelment. This was to avoid being captured and to die with honour at the hands of a samurai, rather than to come home a defeated coward. The wakizashi, I'm going to get fucking tired of saying that, holds the same debuffs as katanas when it comes to armour, but has different combat stats, having a +2 attack and -2 defence. It also has a +2 attack when being indoors, keeping to its roots as being a backup weapon when placed too cramped. The Me Too variant is one of the only cases where multiple weapons can be acquired of this quality, being held by Slave Mistress Ren, Lady Kana and Slave Mistress Grace. A solid backup weapon, but not really good as a main weapon. I was midway through making this video and Beep was trying to rizz up Ruka, the Sheikh. That's yeah, let's just get on with the video. Mixed race couples aside, the Guardless katana is exactly what it sounds like, a katana without handguard. The modification instigates a psychological effect where you believe that because you have less defence, your best option is to attack. This proves deadly in most cases, but some lunatics use this to their advantage. The term Suba specifically denotes the handguard on a Japanese sword, leaving the weapon with a lighter weight, making it more manoeuvrable. Keeping the armour debuffs, these weapons have a massive +6 to attack, but punish users with a massive -6 to defence, making these kind of suicide weapons. The Me Too variant can be found on General Zhang in the Ashlands, which makes this a devastating challenge to take on this weapon, because the General is a fucking tank. If you give the normal katana a diet of creatine and Russian gas station steroids, you will get the Nodachi, a colossal weapon which holds the longest reach among all the katanas. Real-life samurai carried these weapons on their backs before heading into battle, while others simply carried them in their hands, as they are only to be used as two-handed weapons. One possible real-life use for these hulking weapons is anti-cavalry, with their reach being able to attack mounted enemies with relative ease. The Nodachi shares almost identical buffs and debuffs with the katana, with the exception of having a -4 to attacking indoors, which makes sense because it's fucking massive. The Me Too variant can be found on Savant, leader of the Skin Bandits, and in my opinion, it's the easiest Me Too weapon to acquire in the game, with it being available as soon as you start pretty much. So what you would want to do is run to the Skin Bandit HQ, level up your athletics a bit, sprint in there, wait until he's sleeping, and just pick him up and grab him, take his shit. I might do a video on that later, but yeah, check it out. The next up is the Ninja Blade, a small single-edged blade being used by mainly, you guessed it, Mormons. No, it's ninjas. They're a smaller version of the katana and can be acquired quite early in this game by talking to the Shinobi Thieves trader. The real-life version of this is called the Ninjato, which its main use is heavily debated on. Multiple sources though agrees that it was used by shinobis back in feudal Japan, and were favoured for the efficiency in close quarters combat and silent assassinations. They are the weakest of all the katanas, with a -4 to armour, 40 to armour penetration, and only a +2 to attack while having a -4 to defence. The Me Too variant can be found on Dimak, the leader of the Black Dragon Ninjas, who hangs around with a Tower of Ninjas in the border zone, about northeast of Dust King Tower. I wouldn't recommend this weapon unless you're role-playing as ninjas, because, as I have said before, it's quite shit. The last katana based weapon is a topper, and my god, what a fucking disgusting weapon. Being a mix of a katana and a sabre, it has no attack or defense buffs and only has a small penalty of 15% to armor penetration or damage, and a -4 to indoor fighting. It is the only katana to inflict blunt damage. With it being a massive weapon, there's no surprise it can maim a bandit in seconds. Surprisingly though, I couldn't find much information on the real life uses of these weapons, but my guess is they were used by samurai heavies, similarly to the Nodachi. The Me Too version of the top can be found on Rhinobot in the Ashlands, and if you can't tell by his name, he's fucking humongous. Seriously, look him up. That's all the Katanas reviews, guys, and let's give a big thank you to Dust King for having me repeatedly kick the shit out of him for about six minutes, yeah. Let me know if you want me to continue reviewing the weapons, and thank you for the channel growth. We're almost at 300 subs now, and I will thank you profusely, but I will hold off on the subscriber specials because at this rate we're going to be doing one every, a couple of videos. But a massive, massive, massive thank you, even if you've just watched the video. If you have any comments or you want to ask any things about Kenshi, just leave them there. I try and reply to all of them, and just give me ideas on the next video. Thank you, and remember to have a good one.